It's time for us to take our editorial for the week, which is actually a product of the Punch. So
yes, let's read it quickly so that people can also
contribute as well.
To this, because I think this editorial by the Punch is very incisive. It touches on a very important national policy matter. It's titled Buhari, Stop the Reckless Borrowing. Let me just run through it in 2 minutes. Now, unfazed by public dismay and the admonition of experts, the President Buhari, with the enthusiastic support of the National Assembly, is plunging Nigeria deeper into debt at a reckless rate. His latest launch for external borrowing hit a benumb public by a request to the Parliament for approval to borrow another $4.05 billion and 710 million euros in external loans. Ostensibly, the loans are for infrastructure, health, education, agriculture, human capital development, and COVID-19 response projects. Amid reports of debt servicing gulping almost all of our revenues, lack of accountability, revenue leakages, and limited impact of past borrowings, the headlong debt acquisition should be halted. Unproductive national debt lowers national savings. The Punch is saying here. It also says that experts say a large debt encourages inflation, and if inflation is high, the debt will be serviced and ultimately paid off with cheaper naira. Equally exasperating is the vigorous support of the Parliament for this debt addiction. Lawmakers treacherously fail to subject unapproval requests to rigorous scrutiny or caution. They do not exercise effective oversight over revenue generating agencies, despite reported massive leakages and unremitted income. The Punch is saying today too that between them, they are saddling current and future generations with unsustainable debts. Buhari cites his current request to borrow $4 billion and 710 million euros from multilateral and private lenders as an addendum to the approved 2018-2021 borrowing plan. It goes on to say that the president said the funds will finance key projects in each of the 6 geopolitical zones, including the express project at the Kano Niger Republic Railway that is expected to go up $1.96 billion. The Lagos-Ibadan rail line modernization, the Kaduna bus rapid transport, and the hybrid solar power infrastructure for the National Assembly complex. Within days, rather than prepare to scrutinize the request, the Senate, through the chair of its Committee on Media, Ajibola Basiru, was defending the loans and dismissing public apprehension. Meanwhile, the debts are piling up with alarming rapidity, while public revenues are becoming increasingly precarious. The DG of the Debt Management Office, Patience Oniha, said total public debt rose from 32.91 trillion in December 2020 to 35.46 trillion by June this year. This newspaper said, as this newspaper and leading economists have repeatedly argued, debt can be useful when taken with caution and applied judiciously to fund critical infrastructure. Like the World Bank, IMF, the chairman of Buhari's Presidential Economic Advisory Council, Doyin Salami, has again deplored the current debt profile as unsustainable. The government's previous comforting debt to GDP ratio has spiked to 35%. The real marker of imminent disaster lies in the debt service to revenue ratio that averaged 97.7% from January to May this year. Borrowing to pay salaries, run an oversized, unproductive bureaucracy, and maintain parasitic public officials in luxury is courting bankruptcy. Debt servicing has risen beyond the target, hitting 3.01 trillion between January and May. Now, Buhari must change course before he drives Nigeria over the precipice. The National Assembly should be responsible. First, deficits must be slashed recklessly. Between 2018 and June 2021, the government earned 12.79 trillion but spent 28.14 trillion, leaving a deficit of 15.35 trillion naira. Expenditure is too high and should be drastically reduced. To end this editorial, the Punch is saying that Buhari's fixation on borrowing for all railway projects is self-defeating. Rather, the National Assembly should repeal the 1955 Railway Act to overthrow the federal monopoly and liberalize the sector to facilitate local and foreign investment. Corruption, which the PwC says bleeds over 30% from the GDP, should be tamed. Losses from the chaotic Apapa port and its access roads should be eliminated as a priority. Loans should be directed at viable long-term projects that will stimulate production. Finally, the National Assembly should be alive to its responsibilities by minutely scrutinizing all loan approval requests, assessing their value to national interest and repayment capability, and demanding strict accountability on all past, current, and future borrowing. Buhari and lawmakers should bequeath a viable job-creating economy to the youth and coming generations, not a mountain of poverty-inducing debt. Therefore, the editorial by The Punch today, Friday, 24th September. Buhari, stop the reckless borrowing. This is what a lot of Nigerians have already said since the president went to the National Assembly this last time to request this new set of sizable loans. And I listened again to Professor Doyin Salami. He said it's unsustainable. And this is what this is by saying. And they're asking the National Assembly to do more than just be a rubber stamp every time the president comes to request. Interesting development. I think people should read it or react to it.
So you've heard it. Please do send your reaction to it. And let's move on. The next daily, the Nigerian Tribune, PDP chairmanship, 2 camps emerge over zoning of offices, page 2. It's a story for the Nigerian Tribune this morning. It's a very big story. So let's talk about this.
Okay.
PDP chairmanship, 2 camps emerge over zoning of offices.
I'll drink water before I talk about that. Let's go to Canada. That's why I give some message. I will come back, drink water before I add my voice.
Did you enjoy this video? Hit the subscribe button for more. Leave a comment and like. Thank you.